Hey.
Hey, Imsal.
Hey, Nemo Wayfinder. Hey, Nemo
And this
Wayfinder. Music in transition.
I'm on a pillow. I don't get nice things. Travel around the country and I don't get what I've seen. So
good morning. It's April 22nd. Just in case. And we met at 8 in the morning and kind of jumped right into working on a song Nemo wrote a while ago.
yes. I'm trying to remember where I wrote that song. I've been trying to remember all morning and I can't. But I think I might have written it in this garage.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Because I remember being nearby when you wrote it. Because you were pretty
really?
excited. I think so. You were typing all your songs up at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we did work on this song together before.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, what a difference that made.
It works! That's basically the song. Yeah, it made a huge difference, but I'm also remembering how we used to work on this song, and we worked on it in a very different way.
What did we do?
I think this podcast and, documenting our musical process has really changed our musical process. I remember we definitely didn't play it on piano, which we did this time. We played it on viola and on euphonium. And this time we both had an idea of what the song sounded like, at least the melody, and so we were just working on finding chords. But even back then, I knew what the melody sounded like, but that's not how we worked it out.
Yeah, I think working on Empty Boxes, you described it well earlier when you said that one was a good challenge.
Yeah.
This is a real song. I think that's a perfect progression because literally we spent an hour on it and got all of the chords written out. And it was I was sitting at the piano when you came in and you just set up the computer and sat down at the piano and I saw that you were playing the same chords I had been playing and
yeah.
I was cool, that really helped. I think I should do that more often.
Yeah.
Because then I wasn't as confused when we were communicating. Because if I saw you hitting the same keys that I had hit, I was yeah, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't have to try to interpret too much. I could just recognize that we were going to the same place.
Okay.
I think it would go down there from the first one.
Yeah. Which means piano is probably where we should always start.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that I feel we learned from working on Empty Boxes, because on that one we were jumping around on instruments, and so that's what I told you when you came in today. That's why I was at the piano already, because I was thinking how can we work on this song in a way that M can still jump around.
Right.
And I was okay, well, write out the most skeletal part of it.
Right.
And it's something that's going to be the basis for the other instruments. So that's how today went.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made a big difference.
It's clear we both knew the song, but still finding the right chords and figuring out if you're out of tune to yourself or if you're out of tune to the chords you haven't found. That was an interesting process. I can't tell if your starting note is out of tune to the G, or your second note is out of tune to the G, or if it's just a different note.
Okay.
Alright, so.
All who wander.
That one. Because, yeah, it'll sound, because that's a second, it'll sound bad if I stay on this chord. So I have to move with you.
myself this morning, I was so glad that you and DJ had already told me that the song is in G, because I'm like, wow, I'm still like, I can't fathom being able to hear a song and be like, oh, this is on this key, because on the piano, when I play around with just one note, which is how I started this morning, like I feel like that's never the note that I'm singing, or like it never like sounds right. So then I started playing with like two notes at a time based on the one note, where I was like, I think this is right, but it's not really right. But then I made it a chord, and I was like, oh, okay, like this sounds right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing like 2-note chords. So then when you came in and you're like, oh, this, and you had like a 3-note chords, I was like, ha.
It's complete.
Nature's progression. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that was really fun. And I think I got to understand the song better because we did it this way. I was like always playing catch up. What can I do that's like fun and interesting where we didn't have the skeleton yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the like viola parts that I hear in my head is like sustained through the lyrics, and then like filling in the space where there's not lyrics.
And that's what I found today trying to play the viola, was that it sounded best when I was just playing backup, and then when you weren't singing, I got to like explore.
I liked the part that you had on the viola before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like that. Like for the first few lines, it was just like you do like one note and then like sort of wiggle into another note.
Chords, just like really simple.
Yeah.
Open chords.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically we worked on All Who Wander Are Lost today, and it was really fun. It was much easier.
It made me appreciate the like getting together in the morning and like being consistent and learning how to communicate, because that was what we talked about just 2 episodes ago, was like wanting to be able to communicate better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something that I did to communicate better was like
hopped on the piano.
Yeah, and get more familiar with it, so so that like I know what you're talking about, and I know how to, or I can like I found myself able to respond.
Yeah.
faster.
I really enjoyed like working this morning, and I texted Nemo like, hey, do you want to work on All Who Wander Are Lost? Because I got the feeling that like we'd both been working so much on this, like, you know, maybe we needed to just like take a break from our project and work on this thing that we both really loved. Like, you wrote this song, I fell in love with this song, it's a folk song that like brings tears to my eyes.
Even though you've practiced it with me hundreds of times.
I know, but it really moves me.
Parents did math for me. 1 and 1 make 1. So I'll pack my bags up, keep getting right along. And then at that point, I repeat that line to you.
At that point, I burst out into tears, and we end the concert. And then you have to make me feel better about your life.
That's a good song. It's a Scorpio full moon today, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
What does that mean?
Super emotional. So it's funny, because when you texted me that, I was like, did we not plan on that? Because I, in my head, was already working on it.
Yeah, and I pulled out the guitar last night. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's sort of like how I work on things, too, is just strategizing, like, what's going to happen when we're there, and, like, trying to, like, picture what's going to go down. So it made me feel like we were communicating well, that even when we forgot to communicate, we were on the same page.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah, we just met up there. We met up at All Who Wander Are Lost, and we were like, we will come back to Empty Boxes and finish it and shine it up. But we needed some soul time.
Well, and it's funny, too, because part of why I feel like this came together really well today is I put this is from my album Primitive Man that I still want to release this year, but I have been working on it, like, as you know, pretty nonstop, like last summer and fall, and recording over and over and over and trying to work out the parts. And it got to a point where I knew that I needed to take a break.
Yeah.
And I also was pretty broke, so I was like, I'm gonna work as much as I can and bring in some money. And I was like, I'll probably start working on this again in 3 months. And when we started our podcast, it was pretty much like 3 months. And so, in the same way that we're like, let's take a little break from Empty Boxes, like, I have taken a break from All Who Wander.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, your songs need space.
Oh, yeah. There's times where not practicing the viola is the only way I'm able to get a really difficult passage, because I'm too much in it, and I'm too anxious about it, and...
Yeah, especially if you're really striving for something that you feel like you're not hitting, and you don't know how to hit it, and you keep... When you, like, experience that feeling too much, I feel like it wears away on the nature of the music.
Yeah. Yeah. And we needed that time... I think you and I both needed time away from, like, the music making process as we were doing it. Yeah, just because coming back to it feels so different.
Yes.
It feels really good, and you want to feel good creating music.
Yes. I think having a piano is really helpful.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, picture how I was trying to put songs together before, and it's like I could play the percussion parts, but that's not going to communicate with somebody in the same way a piano can.
Yeah, it's like a really magical instrument because you can see everything you're doing. Someone else can see what you're doing. Like, you can name the chords. There's so many different, like, learning processes that the piano can respond to and work with.
It's funny, too, because when you watch somebody play, like, when I was watching you play the chords, even if I couldn't, like, hear if it was the right notes, like, sometimes I could see that it was the right notes, but I couldn't explain that. Like, I don't have, like, it wasn't based on my knowledge of music theory.
Right.
Like, because I don't have much.
It just looked right.
Yeah, and that's how I feel when I sit down and try, because in the past I wouldn't have even tried to work out my parts on the piano, because I was like, I don't know anything about music, like, I can't do that. But if you can tell me, or if someone can just tell me what key it's in, then I can figure out the scale and start playing around on it. It's like, it's weird because I'm like, and it is technically a percussion instrument, but I look at it and I sort of see percussion, and I don't think, like, what note do I hear? Mm-hmm. I think, like, where would that fall relatively, like, to this one, and I can, like, sort of see where to go.
Yeah.
And that is a crazy feeling. Thanks for getting a piano.
Yeah, no problem. That was an impulse buy, and I'm really happy about it.
I think most of your buys are impulse buys.
Oh my god, yeah. It's the second I get money, I can't hold on to it. I'm just like...
It just suddenly turns into an instrument.
Yeah. But I see instruments as colors, and I think that as a painter you would get bored only, coloring with blue. And so I get to buy yellow and gray and red and all that other stuff. And secretly they're like $800 instruments, and I pay them off over time, and I need to work on my credit.
Well, you're saving me a bunch of money.
You should really be paying me right now. Alright, we'll try to turn this nonsense into a podcast, and let's sign off and say...
You're Sal.
You're Nemo Wayfinder.
And this has been...
Music in Transition.
I don't own a pillow. I don't get nice things. Travel around the country and I don't get what I've seen. Half of it's illusion, the other half's a dream. Threw myself into the world, all the misery brings. This family don't like what I've done. They could call me Johnny, they could never call me son. My parents did the math for me. 1 and 1 make 1. So I'll pack my bags up, keep getting right along, keep getting right along.
It's a whole new song.